takes centuries to build a civilization, but it only takes months to destroy one. What used to be known as the Pearl of the Middle East and Switzerland of the Middle East now looks like this.
المشهد مبكي هنا.
Switch up the wrong and the right.
There are mass protests all over the city right now.
احنا تلاميذ جامعات بندفع $15,000 كل سنة نتخرج ونهاجر لبرا. نحن مش زعران.
كذا مش جوع.
موجوع. موجوع والله عظيم موجوع.
The country's leadership has promised reform, but so far delivered nothing.
Unemployment was rising, and the Lebanese local currency, the lira, was losing value. The spread of coronavirus.
Every single sector of infrastructure in Lebanon has been drained to the bones. The COVID-19 pandemic is the least of people's concerns right now. It takes days to fill a car with fuel, and the government is lifting fuel subsidies. Because of this, Lebanon ran out of energy. And most Lebanese cities and villages suffer from up to 22 hours of power cuts. And in some villages, especially in some marginalized areas like Akkar, the power supply stopped completely. People are literally living in the dark. $1 used to be 1,500 Lebanese lira. Today, it reached 19,000 lira. Inflation is going in a Venezuelan direction, but with a Lebanese style, with no governmental control nor censorship over currency exchange, or anything really, even the possession of weapons. The army and internal security forces are suffering due to lack of resources. Their salaries dropped more than 80% of its value, which means higher crime rate, smuggling, and even more room for corruption. The elders are saying that this crisis is unprecedented, not even during the long Lebanese civil war. Everyone's mental health is deteriorating. Educated people, students, and professionals who used to be the most active in their communities are either leaving or seeking immigration to other countries where they can have a future. However, there is a very dim light at the end of the long tunnel. There are still people who want to stay. There are still people whose pockets are full of used tissues and cigarette butts until they get home. There are still people who, despite their poverty and their status and the lack of opportunities, are ready to risk their lives to save a tree. There are still people who smile through the inhumane life conditions they were placed in. There are people who recycle, people who tutor, people who lead initiatives, people who left the city to start an organic farm and send the revenues to help poor communities, people who will still make you coffee even if they can barely afford their own food. There are still givers. Many people think it's not in our hands, or that they need to become great leaders or presidents to make a difference. What they don't know is that a regular citizen, even with little things, can make a bigger difference. Active citizenship is actually a long-term political process. And in order for it to function, we must believe that every little act is a very small part of a very long process. It might take up to generations. A generation of active citizens who are aware, enabled, and constantly take initiative are the next generation of decision makers, change makers. They are the future of local and smart governments.